Hello you fantastic people and welcome to Borderlands 3. If you've never played Borderlands 3 before, these are 5 beginner tips you're going to need to know to survive and or just fully appreciate and enjoy this game. Number 1, we're getting straight into it, is I cannot stress this enough, you're going to run out of ammo. Guaranteed it's going to happen. Here's how to stop that from happening. So first of all, you have multiple kinds of guns in this game. You got rocket launchers, you got pistols, that's an assault rifle, that's a pistol. And depends on what's on, we got shotguns, you got submachine guns, you got grenades. They all have a maximum amount of ammo you can carry at any given time. You want to use as many at the same time as possible. Using 4 different kinds of pistols, because they do different things, is great sometimes, but you're going to run out of ammo doing that. So the way to prevent this from happening is use multiple different guns at the same time, like I'm currently doing, and I'm level 50 and have a lot of ammo. How to get more ammo capacity, that is. You can just buy more ammo or loot more ammo. But to get a bigger capacity, you want to head to Marcus Munitions in Sanctuary 3. You're going to have to wait till you get there. You have to head up to your boy here, press square on this here table, and you can buy SDU packs, and that is storage deck upgrades, SDUs. They start at 1,000 each. They triple every single time. It's kind of disgusting, yes I know. For example, pistols for $1,000, you can add 100 bullets each time. That's 1,000, 3,000, 9,000, 27,000, and it keeps going. Same with assault rifles, submachine guns. They have different increases amount. That's 180 every time for submachine guns, 140 for assault rifles every time. My tip to you is buy the first 2 levels in everything first. And the reason for that is they're hella expensive. So you can't just upgrade them all the way to the top, because as you can see, this one isn't even at its final tier and it costs $729,000. You can't get that much money that quickly in this game. It takes a long time to upgrade these things. So you want to be getting the best value for the amount of dollars you have at the start of your game. So upgrade all the cheapest ones first, get the maximum amount of ammo you can, and then slowly upgrade the ones that you like in particular. Now for tip 2 is absolutely vital for this game. It'll also help with tip 1 in getting you more ammo, making sure you don't run out. Is this game is a looter shooter. You definitely need to do the loot thing if you actually want to survive in this game at all. So, for example, if the map or the particular mission tells you to go one way in the map, ignore it. Go the other way first, because I guarantee you, a good 80% of the time, there's probably going to be a gun chest. If not, there'll be some good ammo, some cash. There might be some echo recordings, which are just like, cool stories about the game. You might find a secret boss. Just heaps of hidden stuff is on the track that it doesn't tell you to go to. This game rewards people that explore and loot everything. And if you want to get the good guns that help you destroy bosses and make it through those ridiculous amounts of hordes of enemies in this game, you're going to need the good loot from the hidden tracks. For example, to avoid any spoilers for you guys that I assume are new if you're looking at beginner tips, in the droughts, one of the first maps you ever go to, the missions immediately tell you to go to the right of the map, and no mission actually ever tells you to come to this area, just very close to the fast travel station to the left here. You want to find those tracks in all the maps. There's definitely one in every single area. You want to find those because that's where the good stuff is. So for example, if you're already at the droughts, head to the left. You're going to find some good stuff there, trust me. On top of that, there is like ridiculous amounts of hordes of enemies in this game. Like there's big rooms, you're going to have to fight a bunch of enemies, then you're going to go to the next room and fight another bunch of enemies, then you go to the next room. Every time you clear a room, you definitely want to check every corner for ammo, cash, iridium, because all those things are going to make you be able to unlock SDUs, get new guns, get cool things like camo skins and character skins, which I know some people just absolutely love. So tip number 2, loot literally everything. Tip number 3 is you want to collect all the loot that you're entitled to. There's a few ways of doing this. You get challenges throughout the game for pretty much just killing things and just naturally going about your business, going through the game, killing enemies, getting through the bosses, leveling up, stuff like that. They give you free loot for doing that stuff. You can particularly go out and like focus on doing that, which is a great idea to get more rewards. But you'll get this anyway and you won't even have to focus on it. You'll get a little email in the top left of your screen, so just up there. Don't ignore that. I didn't know what it was because it's not in any other Borderlands 3 game. I was just like, an email, just ignored it. Don't ignore those. Those are great. Once you get one of those, what you want to do is press start on your controller. or just go to the menu if you're on PC or whatever. Go down to social. You want to come across to the right here by clicking R1 a bunch of times until you get to your mail section. The companies in the game send you free loot for doing these challenges, which is excellent. So I get all these guns for free and literally just going about playing the game. I've already got a whole bunch of other ones that I've accepted. I've got legendaries from this before. Those would have been particularly difficult challenges, but like as you go, that's a purple rarity gun for free, and that's a really good gun. So definitely check your mail, redeem all the points you get, all the cash, the iridium, the XP gains, and the dope guns you get from your mail. Definitely don't forget to do that. The second main way that you make sure you get all the loot that you're entitled to is the lost loot machine. Found just from the fast travel station. You want to head just to the right here. It is this machine. Without upgrading it, you can get SDU packs for this as well. I think it starts with 3 or 5 weapons. All you want to do is walk up to this machine, hold square, and it'll start spitting out guns. For me, it'll start spitting out purple guns because I've been doing some boss farming lately. It won't shoot out just purple guns. How it works is, if you don't pick up a gun on the map just as you're playing, fighting your way through, it'll go to lost loot. It won't pick up all of them because it only has a maximum amount. But it will pick up those guns and you'll be able to collect these later. Say if your backpack was full. You can collect these later, and if you didn't even want them, grab them anyway, sell them, buy more SDU packs. That's what I usually do. I make sure my backpack is always full, and then once I make it back to Sanctuary or an ammo machine, sell them all off because they're worth, for example, at level 50, these are worth like 20 grand. I know at the start of the game they're probably worth about $1,000, but when the SDU packs are only $1,000 then, that's pretty good. So definitely sell all of these or collect them if you want them. That's just another way of getting the loot that you already earned. Tip number 4 is, if you haven't started the game already, or if you're considering going into just a solo game, the best character you want to play is Flak, without a doubt. He is the best Borderlands Vault Hunter I have ever played in any Borderlands game for a solo player. He is stacked, one, to do an absolute crapload of damage by himself. He can go invisible as his main special ability, which is great, means you can't be hit. You can, if you're not as great at the game, you can go invisible, like move out of the way, line up your shots, make sure you're hitting them if you're not great at aiming. You also get a pet, and your pet is the absolute goat. You can eventually go into your skill tree with your skill points, and he can revive you if you down. I'm particularly terrible at downing all the time. I have a playthrough, if you haven't already seen it. I down probably 3 times a mission, without a doubt. I don't actually die though, because one, you can fight for your life and I get up via that, or MT saves my life, being my pet. And believe it or not, MT has probably saved me more times than I've saved myself in Fight for Your Life, so I highly recommend going as Flak. On top of that, even as late game, I still think he's probably the best character to go with because he does the most amount of damage for killing raid bosses and stuff like that. He's just a lot of fun to play as. He has 3 different pets. Like, what more could you possibly want? Tip number 5, and the last tip for this beginner's tip video, is probably the biggest topic out of all of them, but I'm going to keep it as simple and as easy to understand as possible because it is just for beginner level entry, and that is elemental weapons. In Borderlands 2, they make it super simple. They give you a mission with Marcus, and they explain to you every single element. But if you're jumping straight into Borderlands 3 and you've never played a Borderlands game before, you're probably pretty confused right now. I'll give you the simplest explanation I possibly can. There are 6 elements in the game. There is fire, electric, corrosive, cryo, which is ice. We've got explosive, and we also have radiation, which is the newest one, which replaced slag if you played Borderlands before. Starting with the most important element, I believe, in any Borderlands game is electric. Electric destroys shields. So if you see any blue line above an enemy's health bar, it means they have a shield on, just like us, we have a red and a blue line. Hit them with an electric gun. It destroys shields first. Once the shield is gone, then you can switch to a different element, and that'll destroy the enemy's just normal health bar, depending on what enemy it is. Second is explosive. Super simple. It damages pretty much any enemy unless it's like heavily armored, but that's very rare. If it does come up on the screen, resist in, I think it's yellow for explosive, it means it's not effective of that particular element. Switch to a different gun. But explosive is pretty safe. You can pretty much smack anyone with explosive damage. The third element is fire, probably the most commonly used one. Fire destroys humans. If they don't have armor, if they don't have shields, you want to use fire on them. If the health bar is red, generally you can use fire on them. If you hit somebody with fire and it says resist in red, switch to a different element. But any psychos, any humans, once they don't have shields, you'll absolutely destroy with fire. Fourth is corrosive. Used to be very common in Borderlands 2. Not as common in Borderlands 3 because there's not as many robots. It's used for metal targets, essentially. If they've got a yellow health bar, it means they're armored or they're made of metal, essentially, and you can destroy them with corrosive. The fifth element is cryo. It was only released in Borderlands pre-sequel, so it wasn't in Borderlands 2, but it is a lot better in this game than it was in pre-sequel. It is essentially ice. You shoot them, they slow down, and if you shoot them enough, they eventually turn into a big ice cube and explode, or at least freeze long enough for you to just keep smacking them with bullets. I don't think it's particularly more effective on any kind of enemy, just essentially any that aren't made of ice or don't use ice elementals themselves. You can generally smack with cryo. And the sixth and final element is radiation. It's the brand new one. It's only just come out in Borderlands 3. It replaced slag if you've ever played Borderlands before. As you can see in the gun, that's the one. Irradiated enemies damage enemies around them. So they have this aura effect, and if enemies are close to them, they get damaged as well. It also just generally hurts them on top of that. And I believe if you kill somebody with radiation damage, they explode, and it does a little mini grenade thing of aura damage being radiation. So the enemies around them will get hurt as well. I hope that wasn't too confusing for you guys. I tried to keep it as simple as possible, but I know elementals can be very confusing because there's so many different kinds of enemies in this game. It is really hard to learn at the start. But that is all 5 beginner tips I have for you guys today. If this video did help you out at all, or if you enjoyed it, feel free to smash subscribe down below, hit the bell. I make a whole bunch of Borderlands 3 content. I have tips like this, legendary guides, I have walkthroughs, playthroughs, stuff like that. If you're interested in anything Borderlands 3, it's going to be on this channel. If you want to smash subscribe, I would really appreciate it. As well as smash like down below if this video helped you out. If you have any questions or anything like that, or suggestions for videos in the future, leave them down in the comments and I'll get back to you. And yeah, other than that, have a great day or night, depending on what time it is for you guys. And I shall see you guys in the next video. Till then.